This is the Möllevångstorget Square, and from Mondays to Saturdays between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. it hosts an array of stands selling fruits and vegetables. Today is a rainy Friday at the market, and we arrived early to witness the vendors slowly set up their stands and sort through their produce. Most of it is so-called second sorting produce. It's sourced from the same wholesalers as the grocery chains surrounding them, but they sell them at a cheaper price, sometimes due to suboptimal appearance or being overripe. At face value, this made the market an interesting agent in urban food distribution and food waste management. However, its role and what allows it to persevere through its tight margins is tied to more immaterial, interrelational elements beyond the transaction. You see, while the market has obvious material components such as the stands, the products, price tags, sellers, and buyers, the relation between these elements, the way they interact with one another, unveil realities of our urban fabric which either remain unperceived or are perhaps even taken for granted. These have long been and are still, however, essential in the way that we manage resources and social relations in an urban setting. As old as cities themselves, markets are the birthplace of entrepreneurship. And today, they continue to be livelihoods of the business people behind the stalls, which can operate as collectives or as individuals, such as Nevzad.
Jag arbetar här nästan 17 år faktiskt. Jag har eget företag. Jag är från Iran.
Okej.
Jag är kurd. När jag har kommit hit till Sverige, jag är 17 år. Mer jag har boxat här faktiskt. Det är grejer här innan jag kommit, det är lite man jag säger.
The difficulty for them remains a competitive market of reselling in the face of increased costs everywhere. Nevzad buys exotic fruits from the Netherlands, which itself imports them from all around the world. He buys these for up to 250 euros a box and sells them at prices that can sometimes even surpass that of grocery stores.
Nej, jag har fast kund faktiskt. När de kommer svenska kunden bättre till oss. Vi har lite vinst.
He expressed to us the tensions and disparities related to national background, which both the sellers and buyers are subjected to, while also empathizing with the struggling lower class, sharing with us that he sometimes, on occasion, gives away free food to people that are in need. And while the vast majority of sellers here have a foreign background, Nevzat still feels as though the few, quote, ethnically Swedish sellers are given advantages by the guards and have an easier time regulating their finances.
Vi är här i Sverige.
Ja.
Vi är här i Möllevångstorget. Mer vaktmästare jobbar. Det står oss. Jag betyder de har bråkat med oss hela tiden. Säljer inte efter 3. Men hon är svensk. Säg ingenting till henne. Det betyder det finns skillnad mellan svenska och andra folk. Hon kan sälja 3 efter 3, 10 minuter, 15 minuter. Om vi säljer en minut efter 3, de skriver rapport. Hon, om säljer klockan 4, ingen någon gör rapport till henne. Skatteverket när kommer hit, bara kontrollera oss, kontrollera inte henne. Därför hon är svensk. Det här är inte brun som svensk man. Jag har inte gröna ögon. Jag har inte såna hår. Vi kan inte regla någon som svensk.
Economically, both sellers and their customers are being threatened by fluctuations in the price set by wholesalers, but many of them perceive this as undeniably political. And though their deeper beliefs may uncover cynicism, the sellers continue to be showmen, leaving a unique imprint on the atmosphere of the market. Some visitors describe this as multicultural due to the audible interactions in Arabic, other languages, and the practice of yelling out prices, which are contrasted by the more tacit Swedish sellers.
صار عندهم اولاد في اولاد منهم ما يعرف اولاد في اولادي ما يعرف اولادهم هذا اثنين منهم المان اثنين منهم ثلاثه نحن بحياتهم ما عاد يشتغل شو اولاد مثلا هذا واخذني كنا بخمس او بالشهر او انت من وين ما كنا
But we see this in the buyers as well, ranging in appearance, age, and languages spoken in their conversation. We notice that relations between buyers and sellers are not just mutually sustainable economically, they take on a social form, a cultural form. The sellers enticed us with samples of watermelons, coconuts, pears, and prunes. But ultimately, they charmed us with their friendly sincerity and service. We could feel a sense of effortless generosity as vendors were giving away free fruits to children on the way to school. As a buyer, you follow casual and unwritten formalities. You pick and choose your produce, you fill up your bags, all under an agreement of trust with the seller. Afterwards, you have to wait for the right moment to hand your bags over to the vendor, who weighs and prices them. On busier days, this warrants some tenacity, as neat queues are uncommon here. You can always pay via the mobile payment application Swish, though some stands own card readers and cash is always welcome. And while the price always fluctuates based on the day and origin of the product, don't be surprised if you're given a little discount, especially once you become a regular customer.
Ha det bra, tack så mycket. Tack.
Hejsan. Vad vill du ha? Vi bara kollar just nu. Kolla.
The face of the market on most days is this: slow, paced, perhaps unassuming. On Saturdays, however, and on particularly sunny days, the market transforms into a real spectacle of movement and sound. As an additional fish truck and some honey stands join the square, and the demand of the crowds is met with collaborative efforts from everyone, even children. We see children a lot in these markets, accompanying their mothers or helping out the sellers. These are important days that keep vendors in the market afloat, but the deepest relations are built for locals and for regulars. To them, the market is a daily constant that allows equitable access to affordable produce with a price that can be haggled and for a product that is ready to eat. This, however, does not mean there is no waste. While none of the vendors could communicate to us the amount of product they throw away, we noticed how throughout the day trucks also came to pick up stacked boxes full of fruit and vegetables. The market is no exception to food waste, but in a way its waste is harder to track or quantify. Personally, the inconsistency of the product's flavor, ripeness, and overall quality among some stands can cause more absolute food waste, despite the good conscience won from having spent less. So potentially, by paying less, we might end up wasting more. In the Möllevången Square, the market assumes the role as a vector for localization, combating the segregational tendencies of the city through the presence and movement of different nationalities and income groups, specifically in the gentrifying area of Möllevången. These people are incentivized not just by the affordability of the product, but also by the vibrant and inclusive social atmosphere. It is for social justice of all income groups, for the equitable accessibility to quality products and even exotic goods that the market stands for, and for giving opportunities to vendors and small entrepreneurs. Our exposure to the market from the perspective of the vendors and buyers added nuance to the complexity of this physical and social space. However, it still raises questions regarding the broader implications of this market on Malmö's urban transformation. Will its identity remain tied to the second sorting, cheap pricing, and multinational vendors? Or will it too be affected by gentrification of the retail sphere, stricter food regulations, farmers' markets, or segregation? How is this market different from other markets around the world? And most prominently, does this market truly decrease food waste and improve our consumption habits? Let us know what you think, and thank you for watching.